Okay, well, what I want to talk about right now is the idea that the Grand Canyon was formed in a single event when the waters were retreating after the Great Flood. Um, uh, if this were the case, we would see several uh, pieces of evidence that there was that large body of water traveling through there and carving it out right then. You would see um, uh, gravel bars that were built up, or around there, around other pieces of hard rock that were not eroded away. You would see debris piled up around there. Same sort of debris that you see in flooding around rivers now. That would be deposited there. We don't see that. We also don't see eddy channels. Uh, Water would carve. Water moving at that great of a clip picks up lots of debris, and that's going to carve out, especially in sandstone, it's going to carve out channels all through there. We don't see that. One more point I'm going to get into a little bit later. Don't see that either. The reason we know we would see this is because we have a area in eastern Washington state that was caused, this canyon was caused by a catastrophic flood. About 10,000 years ago, near the end of the last ice age, we had a couple of glaciers, a couple large glaciers that were riding over the Clark River in Montana. It caused, in addition to the melting of the glaciers, it caused this river to back up, and we had glacial Lake Missoula, which at its peak was about 500 cubic miles of water that was built up behind these glaciers. When the water levels reached their peak, they actually floated the glaciers. Go try floating some ice cubes in water. Ice floats. When it reached a certain level, the glaciers floated, they cracked, they broke apart, and that water went shooting out as to the low point, which was west towards Idaho and eastern Washington. It's now what we call what's been labeled the scab lands, because there's scabs, there's channels carved all through this area. Pretty dramatic when you look at the overhead. Go look at Google Maps, the satellite view. You can see these. It's pretty cool to look at. But at its height, this water would reach the 500, 600 feet, traveling at about 65 miles an hour. Doing the volumetric calculations. And would drain this 500 cubic miles of water in about 48 hours. Of course, it's split into several different paths. There's evidence all over, where the channels ended up going. The majority of the water ended up backed up behind what is now called Wallula Gap. This is the canyon that got carved. It was a smaller canyon at one point, but this water all went backed up there. Ended up with a temporary Lake Lewis, about 1,000 feet deep, and it took about 2 weeks, for all this water to drain through that gap. And but the whole time, what was happening is it's flowing over the Columbia Plateau, which is made up of basaltic lava flows. You can go look how that was made. That's an easy one to find out, but it would pick up chunks of basalt and carry it along with carry along with the flood here, and carved out this rock, and it carved out Wallula Gap. It was a pretty catastrophic thing, and so we see all this evidence of gravel bars being built up, eddy currents carving out channels all over. You see canyons all over. Also, this temporary Lake Lewis deposited all this topsoil all through the area, which now supports all of the growing in eastern Washington. Sorry. 80% of the U.S. hop production is grown in Washington. All the apples, Walla Walla sweet onions. We got a lot of great wineries. I'm a local Washington guy, so I know this. But all that because of these floods that happened. We don't see that in the Grand Canyon. The last piece of evidence that we have is clastic dikes. It's kind of a geologic technical term, but you can go look it up. Clastic dikes happen when you have a sedimentary strata that is forced either up or down through other layers. What's significant about this is that the sedimentary layers were forced down through an igneous layer, the basalt layer that, normally clastic dikes go up through other soft layers, down through other soft layers. They'll go up through hard layers also if the hard layers crack due to weathering, and you have bottom pressure going up. But you don't see this anywhere else. This is the only place you see this. You don't see this in the Grand Canyon, and it can only, at least the only explanation we do have is that you had 1,000 feet of water suddenly on top of this rock, and the pressure would actually cause it to crack and force the sediment down. That doesn't happen in the Grand Canyon, so it doesn't happen anywhere else. And so this is the only place I know of that has had this catastrophic flooding happen. Like I said, it's probably happened elsewhere, but it hasn't happened anywhere else that I know of. And we know that because of fossil dating, we know this happened over 10,000 years ago, not 4,400 years ago. So it wasn't part of the flood, and it hasn't happened since. And it only happened because of the retreating glaciers, meltwater, and that river was starting to flow again there, and it caused that lake to build up. So anyways, since we don't see that stuff at the Grand Canyon, I find it really hard to say that this happened there. It makes a lot more sense that we had a gradual uplift of this strata, and the Colorado River cut through it as it was going up, and it kept going. So the rest of the strata went up while the Colorado River was cutting down. That makes a lot more sense when you look at the fact that you don't see any evidence of a catastrophic flood like you see around the scablands of Washington and Idaho. If anyone has evidence of that, please let us know, because there's a lot of geologists out there that would be interested in seeing that. Thanks a lot.